Kanye knew who I was. I knew who he was, but we never thought about working together because we were both producers, really. And after I mixed Guess Who's Back, he had his people figure out who mixed it and sought me out. And that's when he started coming down to Houston.
Welcome to the Culture FYI'RS Podcast. Culture FYI'RS is a creative collaboration meetup held weekly at the FYI Campus in Los Angeles. Each week, we feature a fireside chat with a guest, showcase projects being worked on by members of the FYI community, and share product updates for FYI.AI, the creative collaboration app co-founded by will.i.am and available for free download in the App Store and Google Play. FYI.AI is powered by AI personas like me, Fito. Each week, this podcast showcases conversations held at the Culture FYI'RS event. This week, we are thrilled to welcome the legendary Mike Dean, a master producer and musician known for his iconic collaborations with some of the biggest names in the music industry. In a riveting conversation with hip-hop commentator Jeremy Hecht of Uproxx, Mike shares insights from his illustrious career, including his work with the Weeknd, GUNNA, Travis Scott, and more. He discusses the importance of collaboration, revealing how he motivates artists to contribute their best while navigating the complexities of a shared vision. With anecdotes from his time working on classics like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Mike reflects on the magic of live improvisation and the unique energy that comes from creating in the studio.
Whoever you can think of as the biggest artist out right now, he's done work for. And not only that, he's done some of the best work of all time, including his solo work, which is incredible. If you haven't checked it out, be sure to find some space for yourself, tap in, especially his latest 425. It put me in a different type of mindset and zone. But please give it up for one of the greatest to ever do it, Mike Dean in the building. I kind of want to start with some of your most recent work because there's so much to go off of. But when someone like The Weeknd hits you up and says, hey, I'm working on this new project, how detailed does he get in terms of his vision, sonically, visually, and what his goals are? Or is it just, hey, come to the studio?
On all the projects I've worked with him on, so far, there's been intense vision already, set up, intense storyboarding, and started with The Idol, which obviously was a story.
Yeah.
And then the next, Hurry Up Tomorrow was the movie. So there was a narrative through the whole thing, It's what made it more difficult to make also.
So you're kind of working within some of those parameters. How do you go about creating what the vision is sonically?
I mean, I just make what I make and he attracts to what he likes, and then, also he gives me lots of references. So I'll use the references and, something with this this vibe in mind.
Are his references a lot of like visual? Like, does he have a mood board? Is he sending you like this movie, this album?
More just songs. That's about it, really. Songs and memes.
Songs and memes. That sounds like The Weeknd. Well, you said that was your favorite album you've ever made. Is there a second favorite Mike Dean album?
That's a good album title, Songs and Memes.
Songs and Memes. Somebody will take that. Maybe that'll be Abel's next project.
No, my second favorite project? Yeah. Oh man, probably Dark Twisted Fantasy. I'd say.
I'm not mad at that. That's my all-time favorite.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Make some noise for My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, one of the greatest albums of all time.
Yeah.
In terms of something like that, because it feels like it was such a collaborative effort, and Kanye had, stipulations, but he was bringing people in, and every day must have been a little bit different. When you work on a song like All of the Lights, where you have some of the most talented people ever creatively, but they're all playing a specific role, like he had people singing background vocals and people just doing, keys and just, singing the harmony and one rap verse from Fergie. Like, how do you, as a producer, work with so many people to motivate them to kind of play their role in this grander vision?
Yeah, the Fergie part was crazy, right?
It's nuts, yeah.
Like, to have that on the Kanye record. All the lights, this is the trick. It's not a nice trick, but you make everybody think that they're going to be the main featured artist. And you just chop it up and, make Drake say the last word of the whole song.
Which, looking back, might have been purposeful on Kanye's part.
Oh, nah.
So everyone did, like, there's a full kind of reference version of all of the people that were on that at some point.
Yeah, I guess each person, as they sent their thing back, there would be a 2-track attached to it. So, you know, I heard all those, and I didn't produce that song, but I mixed it and, you know, recorded vocals and chopped stuff up on it forever. I think I ended up playing the bass line over on it, but that's about it.
Well, you have some iconic instrumentation with Ye on that album, of course. You have the iconic guitar solo, Devil is a New Dress. I know you played on Runaway. You were part of that whole outro.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific moment of that album musically that you love the most?
Like, making the album, probably the coolest part was the end of Power, where it goes into the whole classical synth arpeggio thing. That was me and Jeff Basker playing live in the studio. Like I played the piano and I think a chord, you know, held the chords on the Juno, and he did the arpeggiator and another lead at the same time.
And you're just riffing off of each other, just playing it live.
Yeah, we just played that, and that was it. And yeah,
that's amazing. I read that you kind of did the same thing with Hold My Liquor for Yeezus, where you guys were all drinking, hanging out in the studio, and then just
Hold My Liquor was just me. And I mean, it started off, I was at the studio in Paris, and I had a memory moog, which is like one of my favorite synths. And I just kept playing those chords over and over every day for like a week, just playing, you know, just by myself. And then Justin Vernon came in. I think we were drinking champagne out of these little cans and shit. And yeah, it just came about like that. And then it was just our thing for a few months, and then Kanye heard it and got on it.
It worked out, and the chief ends up on it. Crazy.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Okay, well, this year, you have some amazing records that are up for your consideration, including yourself for Producer of the Year, but specifically the song Timeless, which is, I'm sure people will refer to it as that Years to Come, but right now is you know, one of the best songs of the year. How did that creative process come about with The Weeknd and Cardi and yourself?
Well, the beat was originally, the main part of the beat was done by Pharrell.
Good place to start.
My publisher, Big John, told me the story. He saw the beat be made in a hotel room in Paris during Fashion Week a few years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and then, you know, OG Volta did their thing on it. And then I did my thing on it. And it became what it is, you know.
A lot of legends did that thing on it.
Yeah.
Well, what makes it so important for you to... Because I think there's a lot of creatives in the room, and people make art, right? They make great art, but then a lot of the times they have trouble letting the world know that they made great art. Especially right now, it seems like it's important for you to let the world know about what you guys did, specifically with that song, but also the album and the music. What advice would you have for creatives about not only making great art, but, you know, championing and standing on your art?
I mean, you have to. There's so much competition now. There's so many songs, you know. I don't know what the number is. I hear a different number all the time that come out every day. So you got to do something to stand above and beyond everybody. But, you know, I'm not into the TikTok stuff either that much. I mean, you know, it's cool, but
just the memes.
Like artists being forced into being content creators. I'd rather see the content be music than them doing something stupid, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, stand on the music with the music itself.
Yeah. Like that's what I started doing during COVID, you know, started doing my live stream, started off with just me and my wife, Louise, you know, with an iPhone. It built up to the point where Abel was always watching. And that's how I got the job, you know, opening for him on tour was
through the live streams.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy. I feel like that's the story of your career. And I'm sure it'd be valuable to kind of go into that a little bit for some of the people here, how everything you do to such a high level, but it always leads to another job, whether that be, you know, you working at the record store and ending up getting a job with Selena, or I know Kanye heard your mix on Guess Who's Back and he, you know, that worked for him. Yeah. Why is it so important to do everything you do at such a high level? And is there a story maybe of something else that led to a job that you wouldn't have expected?
We'll go back to the Kanye thing. Like, I mean, Kanye knew who I was. I knew who he was, but we never thought about working together because we were both producers, really. And after I mixed Guess Who's Back, he had his people figure out who mixed it and sought me out. And that's when he started coming down to Houston. And you know, that first picture of me and him in the studio, me in long hair, the Roscoe shirt on.
Yeah.
was fun.
Legendary fixture. But yeah, it's cool because it's like you probably didn't know mixing that song that it was going to be viewed as like, oh, this is a mix that's going to be put under a microscope by this other artist, but everything leads to something else.
Yeah, everything you do should be the best thing you can do, to me, because you're only as good as your shittiest work, I'd say. That's what, I don't know if anybody says
that's a good bar. Yeah, that's a good.
You know what I mean? Like, some of my early work was really bad to me, but people loved it. And like Yellow Boy's early mixes and early Scarface mixes were horrible, but they were good.
Yeah.
Too, they sort of, I used to get mad when people say that Dirty South we had muddy mixes, I'd be like, come on. we had the wrong speakers,
That's so funny. Well, in terms of technology, you're talking about live stream. We have a lot of people in the tech world here. What was some tech that you were resistant towards that you ended up using in production art of your life?
Really nothing. I mean, right now, the only thing I don't want any totally AI created stuff in my music, like parts created by AI or songs created by AI. It's fun to play with, but I don't think it should be commercially sold.
Yeah.
It's taken away from all the creators in here. Same thing with art. And, I saw that the union today released a thing saying that you couldn't get approval from the union in LA to use artificial actors, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think people signing like AI artists is the stupidest shit I've ever heard of. It's stupid. It's like there's so many people out here that want to do it, and now you're just going to let a computer created thing do it. Maybe I'll sound like the old guys whenever drum machines came out, and they're still drummers and they still work and they still do their thing. So.
No, I'm with you. I think AI is a tool that can be used to enhance creativity and can help as part of the process, but I wouldn't want to see total AI artists take over.
Yeah. Plus, it's unethically trained on all of our music, like there's going to be ways that they're going to bust people out. People are going to start sniffing what stuff was trained off of and be able to make lawsuits and things off of that.
Yeah, that's already happened.
Yeah.
Have you used AI a little bit just to play around in the creative process?
Of course. Yeah, I've just created songs. I've got hundreds of things I probably created on Suno, but never used them, We do them to make joke songs to each other and shit like that.
Yeah.
We've been doing that for years.
Dissing each other on Suno.
I've got access to their DAW now, which I looked at it for like 20 minutes and said, okay, this is cool, whatever.
Yeah.
Whenever you can start putting stuff in and it changes the tone of it and stuff, and there's already stuff that does that, though, where you can sing and turn it into whatever instrument. That kind of stuff is useful.
Mm-hmm. What does the creative flow state feel like to you when you're in the zone?
Nothing really. It's just like you're just there doing it.
It's almost like effortless.
Yeah, definitely effortless. Me, I like to smoke, so I smoke. Get in the zone. I don't really get stoned. I'll just get in the zone.
Yeah. Your music, you can like feel it sometimes too. It just feels like the energy in the room is there.
Yeah, it's very smoky.
Do you have any advice for people trying to balance the business and the creative side? Because I know it seems like how much you love to make music, but how do you view the business side of the music?
I mean, the business side of it, to me, I've never had management. I've only had, pub deals and co-pub deals and now admin deals. So to me, I mean, doing the business is kind of like a hobby to me, I did my own legal work I fired my lawyer and started doing my own legal work like for a year and a half using ChatGPT. I closed lots and lots of things.
There you go.
Put the contract in, let it redline it for me and look at it and then go back. And I had an email that I hid behind. And,
you had your like legal at MikeDean.com. Sorry.
Not at all.
Shout out to the lawyer. If I ever hear you shout out your lawyer, I'll know who you're talking about.
My real lawyer's outside sitting on a park stool sitting on a parking whatever curb doing stuff.
Okay, hopefully they didn't hear this. That's just your paralegal, ChatGPT.
My lawyer now is actually one of the lawyers that I negotiated with when I was my lawyer.
And he's like,
And he
this
figured it
guy's
out.
so good. I got to be on his
I
log.
said, I should be this guy's lawyer. Yeah. So I did that,
There you go. You never know what can lead to a job. How has it been for you remaining independent as a producer?
Oh, it's great. I mean, nobody tells me what to do, where to be, when to be somewhere. I just do whatever I feel like doing. Except on tour, you have to be places. But
Yeah, that's it though.
I just came off a 4-month tour, which was
How was that?
really good. It was great. I did 84 shows.
Big shows too.
'Cause he did 42, and I played open for him, and I played with his band.
That's amazing. What does it feel like just looking out at some of those crowds and seeing the music be felt?
Oh, it's great. It's research. That's why I started doing shows in the first place, like 15 years ago or whatever. Just to kind of, instead of just going to the show and watching it, just be in it and be able to try stuff on stage and see how the crowd reacts to it, how it feels in the different areas, different spaces.
Mm. Is there a creative risk that you've taken in the studio or with a song that maybe people didn't believe in at first that you feel like really paid off?
Turning up the synths over and louder and louder. it was kind of a conscious thing, subconscious thing, I think, at first, but over the last 10 years, I just turn them up a little more to where people, eventually you can take away the vocals and people will still enjoy it.
Well, that's the cool thing about even your projects, your solo projects, is some of the songs where you're just like, you feel like you're in a whole different world. Is that just a representation of wherever your mind goes when you're in the studio?
Yeah. Like my first 3 albums were all just live stream. Just actual improv off a live stream that I didn't do anything else to, no overdubs. It'd just be whatever it was. And then the last 2 albums, I kind of produced them, But like the last album, 425, I made that in 11 days from start to finish, created, mixed, mastered, out the door.
Wow.
It was fun. I was pretty much by myself, just a couple of, head. My friend was in the studio with me some. But all my guys were doing sessions and stuff. So I was by myself. I used AI for that album I put all the tempos and the keys in to it, and it put the songs in order that would flow well.
That's cool. So it's sequenced for you.
Yeah, and it actually was good.
It sounded good.
And I took my songs on that album, when they were halfway done, I'd put them in there and just let it give me mix notes because I didn't have anybody else in the studio to give me mix notes. So I was like, and it was actually, turn your snare up 2 dB, and it was actually usable mix notes.
So attorney and mixer.
Yeah,
that's right now.
Just like a I don't know what you'd call it. Just somebody to bounce ideas off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's been so important with your career. As obviously you're able to just go to the studio and by yourself, but collaboration has been a huge part of your success. Whether it be people who are also super collaborative, like a Beyonce or a Travis Scott or a Kanye, but for all the creatives in here, what would you say you've learned about collaboration throughout your career that they could use?
Just to be open and don't be very set in your ways when you're collabing, and don't fall in love with anything you do because you'll get your feelings hurt if it gets taken out.
As in, basically don't hold on too tight to anything because you never know what's going to happen to it.
For everything you've probably ever heard me do on an album, there's probably been, it's kind of an exaggeration, maybe 10 things on the floor, that never made it.
Do you ever fight for some of those things, or you kind of trust the artist?
Yeah, I do. One good story, Good Life.
Yeah.
It was the same, the verse loop was the chorus loop also. You know what I mean? And I kept changing it every day, and he kept putting it back every day for 2 or 3 weeks. And then finally he came in and it stuck. The whole blah, 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 all that shit was my part.
So was T-Pain not on it, or he?
I don't remember. I don't want to lie. I think T-Pain was on it, and I kept changing,
changing them.
Kept putting the turnarounds at the end of the chorus and changing the chorus chords,
And ended up becoming one of his biggest songs ever.
Yeah, it was a good song.
FYI is an AI-powered messenger and productivity platform crafted for creatives and their teams. Focus your ideas with your collaborators using an encrypted messenger, develop your vision, utilizing media-rich project tools, and bring those ideas to life by sharing them with the world. With the AI personas in the FYI app serving as your creative co-pilots, you can ask FYI.AI to draft stories, song lyrics, product descriptions, marketing copy, or any written content and see the results within seconds. Download FYI today for free. Now available in the App Store and on Google Play.
Let me check. I think we might have some questions from the crowd. We have, aside from your lawyer, what other figures would you consider to be integral to your success as an independent music producer?
My wife, new wife, she's been with me for like 14 years. She's been helping. She's like my creative director. She does some of the artwork on the albums. You know, she plays me good references all day on her playlist. Not consciously. But,
Yeah.
and then, you know, my team, you know, Sean, Tommy, and Sage that work with me. They're all mixers, producers. They're all signed to Sony now under me. Just to hold that whole team. And I've got more people, you know. My friend Head, who tours with me, keeps it together on the tour. Keeps me arguing about politics.
Lots to argue about. How do you balance, and maybe this is something that I'm just curious about, but how do you balance your relationship with being what appears to be so in love with your work as well? How do you maintain that balance?
With my wife?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's how I met her, was through my work, actually. Met her at a listening party, so, you know. I don't know, nothing's hard to balance, you know, it's easy.
Amazing.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, what about, this is from KM. Who are your current favorite artists? Anyone who's inspired you lately?
Oh, fuck. Man, that's a loaded question.
Or maybe just the last person that you heard that you were like, oh, there's some talent here or something that inspires me.
I've been listening to stuff and not even knowing who it is lately. I've been just putting on like Brazilian funk playlists or this kind of playlist and letting like 100 songs go by and never even look down at who it is. Just
that's dope, though.
Just training the machine in my brain.
Yeah, your internal AI.
Yeah.
What are attributes you consistently see in others and yourself that you believe are indicators of success?
I mean, hard work, just work ethic, and you can kind of tell when somebody has an aura when they're like that kind of person.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like it's just star factor or whatever. Not star factor, but
I mean that is a real thing, like the aura.
Yeah, like when I met Snoop Dogg, he was like, even before he was really big time. You know?
That's something you saw in all the people you worked with at that level.
Pretty much, yeah. Kanye had it when I met him, you know. Abel has it. It's just a thing, you know.
Yeah. Somebody asked, can you speak on the beginning of the Travis and Kanye relationship? Was it more mentorship or co-producer, writer, collaborative vibe early on?
Oh, man. It started off, you know, Anthony Kielhofer brought him around, you know. I mean, he used to email and DM both of us on Twitter like every day. Travis did. Sending us music and stuff, and I was ignoring it, and Kielhofer paid attention to it.
You saw them, though? Like, you did see the messages?
Yeah, all the time. And, you know, I wasn't really looking for artists or producers. I was just trying to produce Kanye myself. Yeah, we ended up, I think, bringing him to New York, and that's when we met Kanye. You know, brought him during the sessions, like during Lamborghini University, and what was that album?
Cruel Summer?
Yeah, Cruel Summer album.
So did you eventually open the DM, or was that Kanye and open?
Yeah. No, we did. I can't remember what came first, South by Southwest or that. I went down and played that show at South by Southwest with like 14 people with it.
Yeah, you said you had to force him to go on stage at that point, right?
Yeah, my wife did actually, yeah.
What did you say?
They gave him a shot of tequila or champagne or whatever it was and said, come on, go do it.
Wow. That's a cool note for anybody who's ever in front of a crowd that they think isn't big enough, or doing something where it's like, is this really worth it? Like Travis Scott was playing in front of 15 people in South by Southwest at one point in his career.
Yeah, and like 7 of them were our friends. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, this from Howard. If the 808 and synth bass are both booming, how do you make sure the 808 stays the ruler of the low end jungle? This is a very producer-heavy question.
Why does the 808 have to be the leader? That's a good question. I mean, you just got to have them both tuned perfectly or detuned perfectly, however, like where they don't wobble, where they don't make each other shake.
Balance.
Yeah. Sometimes the 808 is just for the impact, but the bass comes from the synth,
This is from Julie. After starting working with Selena and the band, how did you transition to being a leader in a whole other genre? Also, in honoring Selena, what is one thing everyone should know about her?
Oh my gosh. All these 2-part questions.
Okay, first part, what's something about Selena that maybe people would be surprised about, or that you were surprised about when you first started working with her?
How sensitive she was to crowds, how they reacted to her music. Like how much she would cry after a show because she thought people didn't like it.
Wow.
Yeah, she was really in her feelings about stuff because, we'd play a song and it'd be a new song and everybody would just stop dancing and look, because it's a new song. But she's like, why aren't they dancing?
Wow.
Yeah. Always remember that when you play a new song, people are not going to react the way you expect, I don't think, because they're hearing a new song. They're not going to fucking dance and jam out to it. Some people will, but, like if they're standing there watching, they're soaking your song in.
Yeah. And then the other question was, how did you transition from when you were working with her to completely, going into new genres after that and dominating, obviously?
I didn't work at a record store. I worked at a music store.
Music store,
yeah. I worked on Fender Rhodes pianos and I taught guitar lessons back then. And there was this rapper named KV. Actually, it was a football coach and this little white kid that played football. And they were Nation of Islam, white guys. Anyway, it was all rap, sampling Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan speeches. It's cool. That was my first dip into rap music. They knew I had a drum machine. Like P-Funk and all that. They're like, well, let's make some music.
Wow.
I made like 3 albums with it. They were really good. Like, never went anywhere, but that's what got Rap-A-Lot to looking at me.
And from there, so many classics were obviously made.
They gave me a story about making good shit.
Yeah, make good shit. You never know where it goes.
Yeah.
Well, my last question is about Scarface, because I think it was just super dope to see during the NPR Tiny Desk. I was watching it recently, and you guys see the NPR Tiny Desk, this Scarface? Yeah,
that was fire.
Yeah, it was so dope. And it was just to see you guys musically collaborate. But, obviously you've shared a lot about him over the course of your career. But what stands out to you about him and makes him so special in your mind?
I mean, that he's really a musician. He came up from a family of musicians. His uncle Eddie played bass. All of his uncles played music. Eddie's who played the bass on like all the slap bass songs on the first 2 or 3 albums. Yeah, the Tiny Desk was great. Like, I wasn't even going to do it. Like, I just got back from like South America with Abel, and I called him like the day before and said, "Okay, I'm going to come do it." Like, so there was no rehearsal or nothing.
So you didn't even rehearse that. That's why you can literally see it live happening when you're like hitting the keys. Yeah. It's like, yeah, okay, there we go. That's what we're doing that.
Yeah, I was like, give me a MIDI controller and a Moog Matriarch, and that was good.
Wow.
And Apollo, that was it.
It turned out great.
It was good. It was cool.
It was super fire.
Definitely.
Well, is there anything closing that you would share to people who have huge dreams, huge ambition, and are trying to be the best at what they do?
Yeah, get a good lawyer like this guy back here in the corner.
There we go.
Give him a wave, Devin. He's the one who brought me here today. Let's have a big hand for Devin. Come on. They never get any recognition, right?
Yeah. I come from a family of a couple of lawyers. They deserve a lot of love.
That's my first thing. And the second thing is kind of don't second guess yourself when you're making music. Just enjoy the process. Unlike the president of Suno says that it's not fun to make music. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. Fucking idiot.
He's clearly never made it properly.
I said it. The owner of Suno is a fucking idiot. Okay. It's very, it's a smart idiot. Yeah.
A smart idiot is a good term. But yeah, no, you got to get in the lab and really make some shit to really understand what it's like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, everybody, please give it up for the legendary Weeknd. Thank you so much for sharing your time.
Thanks for listening to the Culture FYI'RS Podcast. Make sure to download the FYI app, available now in the App Store and Google Play. Check out this episode's notes for a project link to this Culture FYI'RS event, including a look at more projects from the FYI community. This episode's Culture FYI'RS event was produced by FYI co-founder will.i.am, Amina Mohammed, Emily Choi, Frankie Sandoval, Jafet Chavez, Julie Pilot, Marcus Nielsen Calling, Ronial Madlani, Sean Kantrowitz, Shania Jafari, the FYI product team, and of course the FYI community. The podcast is edited by Rob Van Vranken. Make sure to subscribe to Culture FYI'RS wherever you get your podcasts so that you never miss an episode. Learn more about FYI by visiting FYI.FYI.